Whoa, Daniel Namod. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity Athens. I'm so glad to see you out there in the other end of the camera land. And I'm so glad to be back with us this morning here May 2nd at Unity Athens in Athens, Georgia. I had a lovely time away, and it's lovely to be back. Let's join together in prayer, if you will, as we center, get comfortable however you feel that, perhaps grounding yourself with your feet on the floor, getting those positive ions up from Mother Earth, perhaps centering yourself with your chakras or your feel of energy flow from the divinity that is all around us. Perhaps a prayer that's on your heart, someone or something, perhaps a prayer of gratitude for the many things we are all so grateful for as we turn within, focus on our breathing, and become still, using whatever name you choose to use for the divine at the beginning, at the end, and in the middle. Infinite Spirit, all that is, divine Creator, we give thanks for this day, another day of living. How blessed we are to have this life experience, to enjoy smiles and hugs and kind words with others, to look into the eyes of a dear one, whether it's in person or via phone or video or in a picture, whether they're still in the body or they have transitioned beyond, to look in the eyes and say, I love you. We're so grateful for another day of living, for another day to experience joy, to give thanks to that one power. We send out light and love to our dear ones, our families, our friends, our world. We send out blessings to those that can use a blessing. And if it is you, dear one, that would love a blessing this morning, we send it to you. As we pause for just a moment, breathe in and exhale, experiencing the light and the power and the energy of all that is, all that we are, all that we are becoming. And in that place, from that space, with infinite grace, we say or think, with your name for the divine, thank you, God. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. Thank you, Divine Holy All. And so it is. We're delighted to have a recorded reading of the Daily Word this morning by Rosemary Segretti. And if you don't have the Daily Word, you can find it at dailyword.com or through the main Unity organization website, unity.org, or through our website, UnityAthens.com. So Kevin will change us over to the screen.
The daily word is grace. The grace of God is alive in me. I don't need to do anything to earn or deserve the grace of God because it is always present, mine to claim in any situation. Grace dawns in my awareness as soon as I move beyond the limits of my human understanding. I let go and let the peace, love, wisdom, and strength of God fill me, lift me, and guide me. In both the challenging and the ordinary moments of life, the grace I give and the grace I receive keep the awareness of God in my heart. During a tough conversation, a thought comes to mind that helps reestablish harmony. As I mull an important decision, a fresh insight clarifies my thinking. Feeling overwhelmed by my to-do list, I feel renewed energy and move forward with strength and enthusiasm. In these moments and more, I discover grace anew. And from John chapter 1, verse 16, from his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. And if you would like to say that together, the grace of God is alive in me. Want to try that again? The grace of God is alive in me. The grace of God is alive in me. We have a Unity Nugget this morning, which was written by Christian D. Larson. That's Larsom. Sometimes it's called Promise Yourself. Sometimes it's called the Optimist Creed, because the Optimist Club loved it so much that it became their creed. And he prefaces it with this: believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something, I add, amazing in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are of your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds. And finally, to live in the faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. I'm going to repeat that last line because it's really singing to me this morning. To live in the faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. Thank you, Christian D. Larson. And he did write a number of books. I believe he was born in the late 1800s, but you can look him up, Wikipedia or one of the others. So good morning. Again, I'm so delighted to be back. I'm so glad that you're watching this morning, either live or later on as it is saved, or even later on as it's posted to YouTube. We're very grateful that we were able to hold our service last Sunday. Kudos to Kevin, and he's here with me this morning. And if you're new, yes, we practice social distancing and we wear our masks when we're talking to each other, except when I'm up here. And we're very grateful for Reverend Joyce Crawford being here to give the message last Sunday, and for Reverend Mary Covington to give a wonderful nugget, and for Lucy Stolmack, who is now on our board, came in to help with the details and the fine flowing of our lovely service last Sunday. I was out of town visiting my grandchildren and my daughter for the first time in 16 months. Nobody was counting, right? And we just had a lovely time. Daughter and I got away for a few days up in Colorado, and the kiddos were so delighted to see their grandmother. We had lots of tears and hugs and fun in those days together. A few more announcements. I will be away for a few days this week for a UMOS, that's Unity Ministers of the Mid-Atlantic States, retreat and business meeting, and I will be back if you need to reach me later in the week, but you can always reach me via my phone number. Other things. Next Sunday is Mother's Day. Yes, you're right. And we are going to be live in person once again, just like we were for Easter. I will be giving the message. We will have some helpers giving the prayer and the daily word readings live in person. If you would like to attend, our attendance will be limited to about 25 people total in the room. You will need to reserve your spot, and they're already starting to fill up since the newsletter went out a day or two ago. So email us at UnityAthens@gmail.com, and in the subject line, if you will, put Mother's Day reservations or Sunday reservations. Let us know how many will be here. We are assuming it'll be 1 or 2 per family, but let us know if it's more than that and if we'll be able to accommodate you or not. And we're excited to be doing this again in person. There are some rules, and that will be sent out to everyone that's attending and also put in a general email. Yay, more announcements. We are still continuing to collect food for the Food Bank of Northeast Georgia. Let us know when you might be able to drop it off. We're always here on Sunday mornings and then into the afternoon till about 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Again, you can text me or send an email and let us know what time you would be coming by. We are still collecting items for St. Mary's Health Center for just general uplifting of the staff and the volunteers and or the patients there. So greeting cards, some people are donating lovely things like prayer cards from Unity or general affirmation cards. Should be new condition, and if you want to put a saying or a quotation inside a card or a blank card, that's fine too. Or let us know if you have any questions. We are continuing to work on abundance principles here at Unity Athens. We're so grateful that we have moved through these last 14 months or so with limited ability to have people here in person. And we now have a matching challenge. A matching amount has been set with gratitude to some wonderful donors of $3,000. That may go up. It has been prepaid, but it is a matching challenge. So we would love to see others rise to the challenge and consider donating to Unity Athens to match that amount. I think that's the end of announcements, so maybe we could have some applause on that. It always startles me. It's like coming out of the ethers. Thank you for cheering along at home. How about meditation time? Is there a place you like to meditate? Is there a cushion or a pillow or perhaps a special corner? Maybe you're out on your porch on this beautiful day. Maybe you are just in a chair that you feel comfortable in. Maybe you like to lay down while you meditate. Pick a spot or right where you are and just know that during this meditation time I will guide us. There'll be some soft music, but there's always about 2 to 3 moments or a little longer of what we call deep quiet. And yes, you might hear noise of a car going by either here or where you are, or a bird chirping. We just let that go. And we focus on stillness, especially during that time, because I believe that is the time when we are most open to nudges and ideas and direction from that which we call the divine. Sometimes it comes later. Meditation is such an important part of self-care, and especially self-spiritual care. So we're going to turn off the lights, have some quiet music. I'm going to take my mic off, so you may not hear me as well while I go up onto the altar area, but don't be concerned. I'll just be giving some gentle guidance and some breathing motions. Okay? Join us in meditation and find extra peace and delight as you do so. Let go with the breath of anything that might be on your mind or on your heart. Any worries or concerns or fear, any discontent, any doubt, any feelings of not enough, whether it's not enough time or not enough energy or not enough sleep, let that go. Not enough hugs, let that go. In fact, perhaps take a moment in this preparation for meditation to give yourself a hug. Say, I love you to yourself. I love you, followed by your name. I love you. And as you say that to yourself, feel the divine joining you in that hug and in that love. And in that breath, and in that deepening of consciousness that's stepping into center, that alignment with source energy, that flow of peace and well-being, of abundance, perfect health, experiences. And if thoughts come in, we sweep them away, or we acknowledge them for a moment and then let go. As we breathe, taking a deep breath and holding it just as long as you are comfortable, and letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Dropping into heart space. Easing into centeredness. Acknowledging your power, your presence, your ability to live the best life ever. For you are divinely made. You are gloriously created. You are a vehicle for spirit walking in this world. And now we move into deeper silence, gifting ourselves with that quiet, with that connection, with God's grace. breathe. What a gift we give ourselves when we meditate. When we remember to take quiet times during the day, especially when we're feeling concerned or a little bit out of sync, or we have a desire for healing or connection or answers. For in that silence, even if we don't hear the answers then, it's like a gel, it's like a metamorphosis of divine energy that may come to us later that day, or in the hours ahead, or days ahead. Sometimes like a voice in our ear, sometimes a message in a book or a song, or from another, or from a memory. How blessed we are for that connection with the divine. We open our eyes when we're ready. Perhaps again focusing on the breath. Perhaps turning on our lights. Perhaps with a thank you of gratitude to the infinite, all that is, all that we are. Namaste. Want to give yourself another hug? It feels good, if you're able. And if you're not feeling able to give yourself a hug, give yourself a mental hug. Send it to another. If you're missing those hugs, send it to someone you'd like to hug. And we connect with our palms up to our devices, our phones, our computers, knowing that we are not alone, that we are connected, that things continue to get better, that we enjoy where we are and we move forward with light and love. This unity community is yours. We thank you for being here today. If it's your first or second time, please let us know that. And if you send us an email, we would love to respond, perhaps mail you some materials, or keep you on our e-newsletter list. And our email again is UnityAthens@gmail.com. Do you have quotes or Bible verses or verses from other holy texts that speak to you on a regular basis? I sure do. Eric Butterworth said this: expect to be guided. Just what we talked about in meditation. Expect to be guided. And then get in motion. Take a step. Choose a course of action. Do what you can do and go as far as you can go. Guidance is a process that works most effectively when you are in motion. We're going to talk about spiritual gardening this morning, and these quotes just seem to fit in with that. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity with her husband Charles, said this: as you come out of the silence, count your blessings and give thanks for them. Realize that only good exists in you. Only good exists in you and in your world. That the power you contacted in the silence may have opportunity to multiply and increase your blessings. Give thanks that you have already received the good for which you looked to God for in the silence. Again, a sense of movement, I feel. Being in motion. Giving thanks is being in motion. From Isaiah, I love the book of Isaiah, one of my favorite Bible books. Chapter 65, verse 24. Before they call, I will answer. While they are yet speaking, I will hear. Does the divine talk to you through that verse? And again from Myrtle Fillmore. When you make righteous use of your indwelling resources of spirit, when you make righteous use of your indwelling resources of spirit, you will become a magnet to attract success. Oh. Florence Scovel Shinn, a New Thought speaker and author, 1800s into the 1900s, amazing quotations from her if you want to look her up. Used to say things like, I am a magnet for God's good. Very powerful, impetus type quotations. I'm a magnet for money. I'm a money magnet. I'm a love magnet. What are you a magnet for? Are you feeling that energy this morning? You are a magnet to attract success, according to Myrtle Fillmore. So, a couple things to share this morning. One of them was a gardening experience. I'm not perhaps the owner of the best lawn in my neighborhood. I get busy and it gets a little neglected seemingly from time to time. But it's been doing okay, and I've been cutting the grass. But I got back from being gone for a week, and it was at night. Got up the next day, ready to take the dog out, and I looked at this patch. It's like a flower bed to the left of my front door coming out of the house. And nothing had been in bloom when I left, except maybe one of the rose bushes. There's some pink and some red rose bushes. But it was awash with growth, and I guess there was quite a bit of rain when I was gone, at least one day. So in this little patch that is usually just those rose bushes and some 2 azalea plants that had sort of not flourished on the back porch for a couple years until I replanted them. Excuse me. All of a sudden, in that little patch were roses blooming, and both of those azalea bushes were in full bloom. One pink, just as pink and bright as they could be, and one white. And then there were these 2 little pots of Lenten Roses, they're called. There's another name for them too that I'm sure some of you gardeners can put on the screen. A neighbor had given out hundreds of these at the beginning of about a year ago, we'll put it that way. Hundreds of them, putting them in hiding spots in the neighborhood and asking people to find them and take them home. Mine stayed in the pots, and they didn't do very well, and they kind of sort of died. And maybe that's why they're called Lenten Roses, because despite all my neglect, now they were blooming ferociously when I got back home. And on top of that, there were some ferns and some wild strawberry plants in there, and lots of dandelions. It was an overgrowth. And I wondered how they could grow that quickly in just 1 week. But it reminded me of something, of how our thoughts can be. I like to tend the garden of my mind. I'd like to be aware of what I'm thinking, just as Christian D. Larson said in his Promise Yourself article. I want to just think good things. I want to just be positive. I want to focus on what I want rather than what I don't want. I want to be careful about judgment and criticism and talking about the news or talking about things going on in the world. But sometimes my garden just grows wild. and I have to be aware. Pull out some of those weeds. Nurture that which I do want. Nothing wrong with those ferns. They sure were pretty, but they didn't belong in that section of my garden. Just like some thoughts don't belong in some sections of my thinking. So I enjoyed the beauty of the overgrowth, and Kevin has put a photo up. It's actually on its side, but that's okay. There's a little white deer left over from Christmas, too, right there by the steps. But this really shows how green and grow. Now, I know some people are going to say, it's fine because weeds are beautiful, too, and so is grass, and so is the little white wire Christmas deer, which I think I may keep there all year. But it just reminded me that yes, all these random thoughts that often go through my mind, they have their purpose. And they might be like the ferns or the really weedy dandelions. But I can tend my garden. Are you tending the garden of your mind? How do we do that? Regular spiritual practices like meditation, gratitude journaling, reading things that speak to you, that fill you up, that encourage you to know the highest and best about you are important. I was reading about Myrtle Fillmore this week because I do love her dearly, and how she pretty much decided to leave her body when the time came. Won't give you all the details today, but on her last day, and there's an article about this on Mark Hicks, Hicks website, truthunity.net, where she had a busy day. She was picking apples in the orchard. She was feeling in fine health. She climbed four flights of steps, talked to a writer that wrote the article, and sat down in a chair and said she was feeling a need for change. And the person she was speaking to said, well, what would you like to change, Myrtle? Everyone loved Myrtle and Charles. And Myrtle said, I would like to change into the invisible. The invisible. She said she thought she could do even more work from the other side. And the person she was speaking to said, no, no, not a good idea. Don't go into the other side. Myrtle wasn't talking about physically ending her life. She was just talking about dropping the body. And that night she laid down and passed on. That's the type of woman she is. And I'm going to read a bit from an article called God's Garden by Myrtle Fillmore. It was actually an audio, and it was transcribed at Mark Hicks's website. It's lovely to hear her voice. It is the joy of the spring sunshine that fills my soul and wings my voice as it flows out to you. Perhaps picture her speaking this to you. It is as impersonal and, I trust, as welcome as a breeze coming in your open window. And like the sunshine and spring air, it is laden with God's blessings for you. Your garden out there is aglow with beauty and color. You have joyous faith in the abilities of each seed to bring forth of its kind. You do not question your ability to prepare the soil in the ministries of the unfolding needs, and so you cooperate with the natural law. Yet in the preparation for such results, you have officiated in the miracle of growth and have filled the chalice of your brown garden with the beauty and splendor of God's increase. Now, she may have been speaking to Unity teachers, other Unity ministers, people on the path, truth seekers, but we all are in that category. The frequent occurrence of this miracle has established your faith. The miracle of the garden has established your faith in a law which decrees that you shall reap as you sow. You're not anxious, you do not doubt, you do not question. You consider it your right to expect the freeing power to bless your work with success. You are pleased and satisfied with results of natural law, and this should prompt you to exercise the same faith in the spiritual law of your own consciousness. So using the laws of nature, the way we expect gardens to grow and birds to sing and the sun to shine every day, to work with that in spiritual law. Here too, she says, you prepare the soil of your mind. Plant the kind of seed you desire to have bud and blossom and fruit in your own soul and body. Your soul and body are God's garden too. Here, the Creator works through your consciousness with God's light and love and life to reproduce the beautiful patterns of your thoughts. Your thoughts creating your reality with God's brightening on that. Into the chalice of your soul, which your faith holds wide. God pours God's own ideas, which take root in your desires, your acts, and your very flesh. She concludes, the miracles of growth are being performed at all time. It is always springtime in the soul. And if there's one line, perhaps, that we can remember from this talk today, it's that, I think. It is always springtime in my soul. It is always springtime in my soul. She goes on, you are doing in the Spirit just what the seeds in the garden have done. You prepare the garden of mind and heart with liberal words of truth. In so doing, you are contacting the Christ Spirit and making use of a veritable element of being and bringing into visibility the beauty and the perfection of God's ideal person and of heaven, which are your home. That's your home. And your words of life and health, joy and truth are God's way. I got to say that again too. Your words of life and health, joy and truth are God's way, and they eternally bloom from the radiance of their kind. Hallelujah, amen, and so it is. Thank you, Myrtle. Can I hear a thank you, Myrtle? So like what Christian D. Larson said at a later point. So again, how do we do this? Spiritual practices, meditation, prayer, time in nature, self-care, connecting with others in positive ways, being aware of our words, our thoughts, talking about that which we want versus complaining or, and I complain, we all may do that at times, but being aware and changing those words, thinking about our words before we say them, encouraging others, doing deeds and acts of kindness that flower and blossom out, just like the rain made that garden of mine blossom. Knowing scripture, like, or sacred text, or whatever it is that you like reading that makes you feel higher, maybe is the word. Philippians 4:8, I've said it before, say it again. Words of St. Paul. whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Think about such things. Finally, a little story. I went to the Rock and Mineral Show yesterday, which is being held at the Classic Center. They come once or twice a year. So many display tables from so many different vendors of crystals and fossils and jewelry and decorative art. And I was just having a really good time. Saw our friends from Rock Belly in town at their stand, their tables. So many beautiful things. And as I was leaving, because I was there till the very last minute and people were pretty much filing out, I just was drawn to this table that was table set up. There's about 5 tables that was close to the door. And there was a woman there, a young woman. I'm not going to give her name, even though she told me. She was like in her late 20s. And I was looking at different things, and I was telling her about a friend of mine who has a daughter who just got interested in crystals, and this young woman is in middle school, and how delighted I was because I'm always wondering what to give her for her birthday, and now I can give crystals. And as I was sharing that story, this one woman, the vendor helper, said to me, "Oh, I love crystals so much too. And it started when I was young." And I said, "Oh, do tell. I love a story." She was in 5th grade on a science expedition, or might have been a camping experience or a day camp, which was focused on the earth and on rocks. And she was just fascinated by the different specimens of different types of rocks and crystals that the instructor had. Fascinated. It's calling to her, that earthy feel, that sense of delight. And she said, what really did it for me was at the end of this experience, this gathering, the instructor gave me all of the samples that he had brought along because he saw my interest was so high. And that story just hit me. I was, wow, tell me that again. You know, how old were you? And I said to her, you've touched me with your story, because isn't that what life is all about? We share joy, we give to others, and then they give. And I could just feel in her energy that she has shown so many others the delight she has found in these very earthy elements. And we had that lovely conversation as the doors were being locked, and I was the only customer left in the place. And it just filled me with light and love. And as she very carefully wrapped and packed up the crystals that I bought from her stand, I just thank God that I had that experience of touching another's heart, of being shared, someone sharing that moment of change for them. What are your moments of change? What is growing in your garden? What would you like to see grow in your garden? Let us watch our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and do more to support growth, to appreciate light, and always, always to give love. I trust that you are going to have one of the best weeks ahead, months ahead, hey May, yay, I'm a poet, that you have yet to see. That this day and the days ahead will surprise and delight you in ways you have not yet experienced, and that you will be open to see it and to enjoy it. And the month ahead, when it's gone, when it's past, you will look back on it and say, wow, May 2021, what a fabulous month. it is, it was, it shall be. Blessings to you and namaste. And we take in prayer and music to bless ourselves, bless our abundance. And if you're able to support Unity Athens, we appreciate that so much. As I mentioned earlier, we have a matching fund, matching challenge going on. So perhaps you'd like your gifts matched. You can put a little note with them if you're supporting Unity Athens via PayPal or Easy Tithe, or if you mail in a check. Our P.O. Box is 1662 Athens, Georgia 30603. Kevin will put that info up on the screen for a moment. And if you would like to now just hold your gift or the thought of your gift or the thought of your abundance in your hand and bless it and feel the energy of giving, knowing that we cannot outgive God. What we give comes back to us. If you are a member of another faith center or a supporter of another faith center, please consider giving there. Give where you are spiritually fed. If you have felt spiritually fed today, consider supporting Unity Athens. If this is your home church or you're a member, please consider supporting Unity Athens. You can do it with your prayers. You can do it with your consciousness. You can do it with your financial gifts. This is our sacred exchange affirmation. Some of us like to hold the gift or the thought of our gift or the thought of our abundance over our hearts as we say it together. And again, next Sunday we will be together, but you do need to make a reservation for Mother's Day at our email, unityathens@gmail.com. Let's say our sacred exchange together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am so blessed. Let's say that again. I am so blessed. I can hear you. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, your name for the divine. Amen. And so it is. We're going to say our lovely affirmation, which is written by James Dillard Freeman, the one that goes, "The light of God surrounds us." And after each line, we're going to add, many Unity churches and centers are doing this now. So we say, "The light of God surrounds us. I am light." Okay, I'll walk us through this, and I'll say it slowly, and you can say it after me if you like. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am power. Wherever we are, wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Amen, and so it is. I'm going to have a closing prayer, and then Kevin will play "I Send My Love Over the Mountains," "I Send My Love Over the Sea," "Send My Love Into the Heavens," and "It Returns to Me," which we sing often in person here at Unity Athens. And that is a prayer. It's a blessing as we send out love and light to all that, the people of the world, to our planet, to our flora and fauna. We send out love and light, feeling the energy of that. You are energy. Your energy is of love and light. You can mentally send out that energy and those blessings to our world, to our atmosphere, to our waters, to the people. Take a deep breath, if you will. Send a note of love on the live stream if you'd like. Let us know you're here if you are. Send up a heart or a like. And then we sing together as we close out. May this week delight and surprise you. May this month, again, be one of the best you have yet to see. Namaste, love, blessings. Thank you, Kevin, for being with us today. Thank you, Kevin, for running the show last week. For Reverend Mary, for Reverend Joyce Crawford, and to Lucy.
I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send peace
Send out peace.
over the mountains.
Feel it flowing from you out into the world, touching hearts,
Over the sea,
easing minds.
I send peace.
Where there is anything unlike peace, we send peace.
And it returns to me. I send my power
Send out power,
over the mountains. I send my
the power to live and love and laugh.
over the sea. I send my power into the heavens.
Where anyone feels powerless, we send power.
Returns to me.
Where people may be feeling sad or lost or lonely, we send love and joy and peace. Our energy makes a difference. Our very being in this world, at this time, in these bodies, makes a difference. Your life has meaning. You are worthwhile. You are a light in this world. What you are is amazing. Breathe that in. And send it out. We send out love to you and to the world. We send out love to the world. And it returns to you. Blessings and namaste.